near its flaming apartment. And that is the final frag. Navi with a monstrous victory here in Boston over QB Fire.
My thing is, listen, Zeus wasn't a mid-round god, but he could condition his opponents, he could grind out rounds. Boomich doesn't know any of that shit.
Турик Dunn для того, чтобы войти в форму. Так и играйте, все, ищите свою оптимальную игру. Готовы? Кто мы? Рожденные побеждать!
As a player, he's still a new name, right? You have to remember this guy, he was in-game leading Winstrike. Winstrike isn't a team that's on, it's not a household name by any means. Gets picked up by Navi, gets thrown into the in-game leadership role. He's not thriving as an in-game leader just yet, but I'm excited to see what he can bring.
He's climbed the ranks for many years. I've seen Boomich and his fledgling years at the Katowice has gone. The qualifiers for Katowice, no less, and now he's in the finals, and Boomich doing it again, this time versus the full buy. A taste of the flamey treatment from yesterday, a triple kill, bomb in his grasp, and there's nothing that G2 can say about it.
Boomich is a man of many talents. He has a big heart and big dreams.
I heard a lot of good feedback about this guy, and then he came in our team. I was really happy because he's funny like me, and it's cool to spend time with him, and he's 1 versus 2 clutch, insane fast zooms. I'm really happy, and I feel like we can win the major.
But before he became one of CSGO's household names, Boomich joined Navi as a literal nobody, a player that many thought was going to drive a once legendary team even deeper into the dirt.
My thing is, listen, Zeus wasn't a mid-round god, but he could condition his opponents, he could grind out rounds, he had a playbook, he had variety, and when he didn't have any of those things working, or it was a moment where it might not work to just try and execute, he's only been grinding out rounds anyway, they aren't all working, he knew when to gamble, he knew when to do like a 4 stack somewhere. Boomich doesn't know any of that.
And to be fair to his haters, Boomich didn't exactly join Navi with a championship pedigree.
Многие аналитики, комментаторы там высказываются по поводу, что можно взять было другого игрока, а не меня. Честно, вот у меня никогда от этого не подгорало, но вот сейчас подгорает, потому что относительно я понимаю, что эти люди не так хорошо шарят в Counter-Strike, но вот именно такие громкие заявления я бы на их месте не делал. Я понимаю, что это все ради пиара и хайпа, но честно, вот игроки понимают, почему именно меня взяли.
Early on in his career, Boomich found huge success with Quantum Bellator Fire. QBF came out of nowhere to qualify for the Boston Major, and then they shocked everyone by beating some of the best teams in the world on their way to the top 8.
Definitely saw it coming now. Alina and Jimka left trying to see if they can just crush Virtus Pro here. 2-on-2. Bomb only just down. There's Jimka with the 1 shot, and now Pasha in the corner all alone, getting shot at from 2 different angles, and he gets dropped by Jimka, and that's it. 16-3 here as Virtus Pro get taken down by QB Fire. Who would have thought? And he's inside the smoke, trying to make his way back out. That bomb, he can't actually stop it from being defused. Boomich is already on it. Sunny, he can't stop this from happening. What an incredible story here. The kill comes through, a Cinderella story of what can be accomplished when you do not give up. 16-14, and QB Fire make it to the playoffs here at the major tournament.
But their miracle run came to an end in the bracket stage. Navi sent them home in a coffin.
Boomich though, 1v2 with a Deagle. Is he good for it? Ooh, that was a pretty clean snap, but doesn't land a shot. 16-4, Navi and Flamey mostly, very dominant performance.
Near its flaming apartment. And that is the final frag. Navi with a monstrous victory here in Boston over QB Fire. Dominant victory from start to finish. Great performance as they move on in the tournament.
After QBF's surprising run in Boston, some people thought that they could be the next great CIS team. But the hype didn't last.
Natus will take down Alina, and now it's only 2 players that stand between Sprout and the victory in this best of 3, and it's only Boomich. I'm afraid I don't fancy his chances, only on 8 HP, has to find all the players, and if Natus finds this last, that would be a team kill, but sadly for him, it's Speedy to find it, 16-4, and Sprout will end this best of 3 as victors 2-1.
At this point, any memory of the miracle they had in Boston had faded. Boomich and the rest of QBF jumped ship to Winstrike, but that was a flop too.
Not a good look. 5 versus 2 now as they get whittled away until it's just Boomich left, and they played a huge gamble, James, and that's your 7-15 down. That's going to go wrong at some point, and Liquid will effortlessly take their game against Winstrike.
The bomb is down, and he has to do something impossible here. Smoke doesn't even block anyone off, and they're both waiting for him. Actually surprised he even is still alive, and finally Draken will take him down 16-7 as Fnatic make their way past Winstrike.
Boomich now holds off toward Water, goes to the CZ, but it's Skadoodle instead, and it's Cloud9 that just barely keep themselves not only in this major, but the next one.
Winstrike's terrible results led to the entire roster, except for Boomich, getting benched. As the last man left standing, Boomich was given free reign to build his own roster, but that didn't work out either. The new Winstrike limped their way to the Katowice Major and didn't even make it to top 16.
Crafty enough. Quick, there it is. They had to peek. They needed information. 31 seconds, 2 on B. They need to rotate. They have to be aware. Oh, he's looked away. Wrong timing on the flash. Rush again, and he'll follow it up as well to fight Norbert. Cloud9 are 1 kill away from making it to the top 16 again. And it's all on World End, a man who has tons of experience in majors, but this time he's going no further. It's over. Cloud9 in overtime, 2-0, and they get the final spot in our top 16.
At this point, no one cared about Boomich. No one, except for Navi. Boomich was replacing Edward, and while he was no longer at his peak, he was a legend in his own right.
Guardian with the angle, and Tetris not reacting in time. And the man advantage now for Luminosity. They have the kits as well, and they have the bullets too. Cold takes out Zeus, and it's all on Edward here. 1v2. Has to bait out Fallen, and he hits the shot, but Fallen will drop him. There's just not enough time. Once again, Edward coming through with the huge clutch for Navi to make all the difference.
Everyone just had one question. What was Boomich actually going to do on Navi? He couldn't be the best or even the second best fragger on the team. And he couldn't be the IGL either. Zeus already had that covered.
What are you looking for in a 5th player? IGL, another role. What are you looking for?
It's not IGL, I think.
No?
No, maybe sniper.
Yeah.
But speculation swirled that Zeus was mentoring Boomich to take over as Navi's IGL when he eventually retired.
He need to give all his experience to Boomich, so we are waiting.
Yeah.
Give everything to Boomich.
Are you going to hand over the torch?
Yeah, help Boomich if him want.
And Boomich didn't have to wait long. Just a few months after he joined the team, Zeus retired. Boomich was now in charge of Navi in-game. All his haters were waiting for him to flop yet again.
Well, I mean, Boomich is the in-game leader. He has that pressure on his shoulders on top of performing in the game, but we had a chance to actually look at some of his statistics from the first day where he stood out and Navi still were able to put up somewhat of a fight.
Yeah, well, on day one, Boomich was the individual who was making that Inferno game, at least versus Vitality, interesting. The only reason the scoreline Navi could say a 16-12 even feels semi-respectable because of him, right? So as a player, he's still a new name, right? You have to remember this guy, he was in-game leading Winstrike. Winstrike isn't a team that's on, it's not a household name by any means. Gets picked up by Navi, gets thrown into in-game leadership role. He's not thriving as an in-game leader just yet, but I'm excited to see what he can bring.
And the fans had every reason to be suspicious. From s1mple to Zeus to Guardian, Navi housed some of the best players CSGO had ever seen, and none of them could make the team work. But Boomich believed that this time, he could do it.
Если я говорю, то я это делаю. Я уверен, что мы сможем выиграть следующий чемпионат мира.
Турик Dunn для того, чтобы войти в форму. Так и играйте. Все, ищите свою оптимальную игру. Готовы?
Кто мы? Рожденные побеждать!
Boomich threw himself into his new role as Navi's IGL, and the results spoke for themselves.
To do, force him to walk forward, and that's it! Boomich finishes things off.
Stand tall one last time, he lines them all! No! A beautiful spray! Electron's hit! That's it! 16-14! Navi do it!
Not only had Boomich recovered from his humiliating losses with QBF and Winstrike, but he also managed to do something that guys like s1mple, Guardian, and Zeus never could.
With this roster, you have brighter future.
Okay.
I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen, but still, with this roster, with this individual skill, we can beat any team.
And in Katowice, Boomich led Navi to victory, winning the IEM World Championship without dropping a single map in the playoffs.
There it is, your champions are going to be Navi. It's a 3-0 clean sweep here in the grand final. This is a legit team.
All of his hard work and dedication paid off. Navi were now the #1 ranked team in the world. And then a global pandemic delayed the next major by months. But before all that happened, Navi were the favorites. And a big reason why was Boomich. So when the next major does happen, Boomich is ready because he's hungry for redemption.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring that notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit up our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages.